Broncos country. Get ready, because what I'm about to tell you here could shake the very foundations of our orange and blue family. Bo Nix, our quarterback of the future, is at the center of a storm that could define the entire 2025 season for the Denver Broncos. 3 turnovers in one game, Sean Payton publicly taking the blame, and now rumors that Bo might completely change his playing style. Stay until the end, because I'm going to reveal details that will make you rethink everything about our offensive strategy. Denver Broncos family, let's get straight to the point. Our 2012 victory over the Tennessee Titans should have been cause for pure celebration, but we left the field with more questions than answers. Bo Nix, who finished last season as one of the most promising quarterbacks in the league, committed 3 turnovers that almost cost us the game, and I'm not talking about silly mistakes, folks. These were 3 turnovers that showed exactly where our young quarterback needs to evolve. 2 interceptions that left our defense working overtime, and a fumble that nearly turned into a touchdown for the opponent. Broncos country. Did you see the desperation in Bo's eyes during those plays? But here comes the most interesting part of this whole saga. Sean Payton, our coach who has already won a Super Bowl and knows very well how to develop quarterbacks, did something that few coaches would do. He took full responsibility for Bo Nix's mistakes. And when I say took responsibility, really took responsibility. Payton declared to the press, "I don't know how many games I've coached, but this was one of those where I left thinking, man, I have to be much better." Folks, a coach with Sean Payton's resume taking the blame for the quarterback's turnovers? That's not normal in the NFL world. What does this mean for our Denver Broncos family? It means Payton is protecting his quarterback, but he's also sending a clear message. The responsibility belongs to everyone, not just the kid holding the ball. It's a masterful psychological move, but will it work? Because let's be realistic, Broncos country. Bo Nix is entering his 2nd year in the NFL, a period traditionally known as one of the most difficult for young quarterbacks. The famous sophomore slump has already brought down many promising talents, and our quarterback is showing worrying signs right in the first week. 3 turnovers in one game is no joke. In the modern NFL, where every possession is worth gold, giving the ball away 3 times to the opponent is practically signing a death sentence. Thank goodness our defense is spectacular and managed to hold things together, but we can't count on that every week, and here comes information that will make you even more worried. Sources close to the team indicate that Bo Nix is considering a radical change in his game approach. The quarterback we know for his aggressiveness and ability to make risky plays is thinking about being more conservative. Folks, this could be a double-edged sword. On one hand, fewer turnovers mean more chances of victory. On the other hand, Bo Nix's aggressiveness was exactly what got us to the playoffs last season. If he becomes too conservative, we lose the spontaneity that makes our offense special. Courtland Sutton, our star wide receiver, came to the quarterback's defense saying that Bo demands perfection from himself and that the weight of the world is not on his shoulders. But could this internal pressure that Bo puts on himself be exactly what's causing these mistakes? Let's analyze the cold numbers, Denver Broncos family. Last season, Bo Nix completed 66.3% of his passes, had 29 passing touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. Solid numbers for a rookie. But starting the new season with 3 turnovers in one game raises serious questions about his evolution. The Broncos defense managed 6 sacks against the Titans, practically saving the game. But imagine if we faced a stronger offensive team. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, or Lamar Jackson wouldn't miss these opportunities. We handed them on a silver platter. And there's one more thing that's bothering me. Broncos country? Bo's body language during the game. Did you notice how he reacted after the 2nd turnover? The kid was visibly shaken, and that was reflected in the subsequent plays. A quarterback can't let himself get rattled like that in the NFL. Mike McGlinchey, our offensive tackle, was direct to the point after the game. 4 turnovers is unacceptable. That has to stop. He was including the fumble lost by the running back, but the message was clear. The offensive line is doing its part, but the quarterback needs to take better care of the ball. The problem is we're talking about a young quarterback who is still learning to read NFL defenses. The Titans don't have one of the best defenses in the league, and they still managed to force 3 turnovers. What's going to happen when we face truly elite defenses? Sean Payton has an impressive track record of developing quarterbacks. Drew Brees became one of the greatest of all time under his tutelage. But the pressure in Denver is different. Our fan base waited decades for a franchise quarterback, and Bo Nix carries that expectation on his back. The good news is that it's still very early in the season. One bad game doesn't define a career, and Bo Nix showed last season that he has the talent to be special. The question is whether he can overcome these mental issues that are causing the turnovers. Folks, if you're true Broncos country and want to follow every play, every analysis, and every piece of news about our beloved team, subscribe to the channel now. Turn on notifications because every week there's exclusive content about our orange and blue family. Don't miss any information about Bo Nix's future and the Denver Broncos. Now, I'm going to say what I really think about this whole situation. Bo Nix has talent, that's undeniable. But talent alone doesn't win Super Bowls. He needs to mature mentally and stop forcing unnecessary plays. What worries me most isn't the turnovers themselves, but rather the possibility of him becoming a scared quarterback. The NFL doesn't forgive quarterbacks who play with fear. If Bo Nix starts playing too conservatively because of these mistakes, we might be creating an even bigger problem. Sean Payton needs to find the perfect balance between protecting his young quarterback and demanding evolution. Taking the blame publicly was smart, but in practice he needs to be tough on Bo to correct these fundamental errors. The Indianapolis Colts are our next opponents, and they have a defense that can exploit Bo's ball protection problems even more. Anthony Richardson, their quarterback, is also in his second year and will want to prove he's better than our guy. This next game could define the direction of the entire season for Bo Nix. If he can play without turnovers and lead the offense to a convincing victory, confidence returns. If he repeats the performance against the Titans, the pressure from media and fans will become unbearable. The offensive line needs to provide more protection. The wide receivers need to help by running precise routes, and the running game needs to function to take pressure off the passing game. Football is a team sport, and Bo Nix can't carry the team alone. Broncos country. Let's be realistic about our expectations for 2025. With an elite defense and a talented group of wide receivers, we have everything to compete for the playoffs again. But if turnovers continue to be a problem, our season could quickly derail. The AFC West division is more competitive than ever. The Chiefs still have Mahomes, the Chargers have reinforced, and even the Raiders could surprise us. We can't give ammunition to our rivals with unnecessary mistakes. The most important thing now is for Bo Nix to use this negative experience as fuel to grow. The best quarterbacks in the NFL went through difficult moments early in their careers. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers all had terrible games when they were young. The difference between those who became legends and those who disappeared was the ability to learn from mistakes and come back stronger. Bo Nix has this opportunity in the coming weeks. The national media has already started questioning whether Bo Nix is really the franchise quarterback the Broncos need. Analysts are comparing his situation with other second-year quarterbacks who had difficulties. But our fan base, the best in the NFL, needs to maintain support. Booing your own quarterback at Mile High is the last thing we need right now. Bo Nix needs to feel he has the support of Broncos country to play with confidence. Social media is already divided. Some fans want patience and gradual development. Others are already asking for the Broncos to explore other options at the position. The truth is somewhere in between. We need to give Bo time to grow, but also demand rapid evolution. Let's quickly compare Bo Nix with other second-year quarterbacks in the NFL. C.J. Stroud had a historic rookie season, but also started 2025 with some problems. Caleb Williams is still adapting. Anthony Richardson missed almost the entire last season due to injury. The pressure is on all these young quarterbacks, but Bo Nix has some advantages. He has Sean Payton as coach, an elite defense that can hold games, and experienced wide receivers who can make difficult plays look easy. What Bo Nix cannot do is enter a negative confidence spiral. Some quarterbacks never recover when they start doubting themselves. The mind is fundamental at this position, and turnovers can be much more of a psychological problem than a technical one. From a technical standpoint, Bo Nix needs to improve his reading of defenses. Many of the turnovers happen when he doesn't correctly identify defensive coverage and forces passes to covered receivers. Passing mechanics also need adjustments. Sometimes Bo Nix telegraphs his intentions, giving defensive backs time to position themselves for interceptions. Sean Payton has the experience to correct these technical details. Timing with wide receivers is another area that needs improvement. Some of the intercepted passes happened because Bo and the receiver weren't synchronized. This is resolved with repetition and chemistry in practice. The Denver Broncos invested heavily in Bo Nix, not only with the draft pick, but also with the entire offensive project built around him. Organizational pressure exists, even if no one speaks about it publicly. John Elway, team legend and now consultant, is certainly closely observing the young quarterback's development. Patience exists, but there are also high expectations considering the resources invested. The good news is that the Broncos organization learned from past mistakes. They won't abandon Bo Nix after a few bad games, but they also won't accept mediocrity for too long. Denver media is being relatively patient with Bo Nix, but that could change quickly if problems continue. National coverage is already more critical, and that adds unnecessary pressure. Bo Nix's agents and advisors also need to do important psychological support work. Managing the pressure of being a starting quarterback in the NFL isn't easy, especially for young players. Support from family and close friends will be fundamental in the coming weeks. Bo Nix needs a stable environment off the field to be able to concentrate on the necessary improvements on the field. Broncos country. Regardless of current problems, it's still too early to give up on Bo Nix. Quarterbacks need time to develop, especially in the modern NFL, where defenses are increasingly complex. The important thing is that he uses this adversity as motivation to grow. The best professionals are those who transform difficult moments into fuel for improvement. Bo Nix has all the physical and mental tools to be special. Our Denver Broncos family needs to maintain confidence and provide necessary support. At the same time, we can't be complacent with mistakes that cost games. The balance between patience and accountability will be fundamental. So, Broncos country, we've reached the end of another deep analysis about our beloved team. Bo Nix is going through a challenging moment, but there's still plenty of time to correct problems and show why he was chosen to lead our offense. The 3 turnovers against the Titans were an important warning. We can't minimize the gravity of the situation, but we also shouldn't panic. Sean Payton knows what he's doing. Our defense is elite, and we have a group of talented players around Bo. The next game against the Colts will be crucial. A solid performance without turnovers can put Bo Nix back on track and give confidence for the rest of the season. A repeat of the mistakes could create a confidence crisis that's difficult to reverse. So, Denver Broncos family, what's your opinion about this Bo Nix situation? Do you think he'll be able to overcome these turnover problems, or are you worried about the future of the position? Leave your opinions in the comments below. I want to know if you trust Sean Payton's ability to develop our quarterback, or if you think we need more drastic changes. If you enjoyed this detailed analysis, leave a like, share it with other Broncos country fans, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any news about our beloved team. Next week, there's a game against the Colts, and you can be sure I'll be here with all the coverage and analysis you deserve. Until then, keep the orange and blue faith, because this season can still hold many surprises for us. Broncos country, until the next video. Let's go Broncos!